Hey, what's up, guys? We're back with another NFL record prediction. Before I get started, make sure to smash that like button and go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well. We have a goal of hitting 300 subscribers by the end of June. So if you want to help me hit that goal, that would be much appreciated. And let's go ahead and jump right into it. Today we are predicting the Minnesota Vikings 2021 record. So right off the bat, I think the Vikings look really good. I really like their weapons. I mean, Justin Jefferson is already one of the best receivers in the league. Dalvin Cook is a top three running back in my mind, only behind Derrick Henry and Christian McCaffrey. I like their improvements to the offensive line. I thought they did really well in getting Christian Darrisaw in a trade back. So that was really good. I think Kirk Cousins, honestly, is pretty underrated, if I'm being honest. I think there's a lot to like about this roster. I think they should be pretty good this year. So, I do want to say for divisional games, I did my Packers prediction yesterday, and that was under the assumption that they won't have Aaron Rodgers. Um, you know, I will say right now, I had them splitting. I had the Vikings and Packers both winning in their respective stadiums. So I'm going to go ahead and select those right now. I did see a thing today that Aaron Rodgers is expected to actually play for the Packers this year. I don't know how trusty of a source that is. I don't know if it's valid. So I'm going to keep the assumption that they won't have Aaron Rodgers, and I think they'll split. So now that we got those games out of the way, let's go ahead and continue. So I think the Vikings will beat the Bengals. They're doing solid at building for the future. Excuse me. However, I thought it was really dumb of them to not get Penei Sewell and build that offensive line. I think they're going to get themselves in a very much like Seahawks type of situation where they have a ton of playmakers and stuff, but they don't have an offensive line. And that's going to, I mean, Joe Burrow, yeah, he's fairly mobile, but he's not nearly as mobile as like Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson. So they can't really get away with having a bad offensive line. So I think the Vikings will go ahead and win that one. I also think they'll beat the Cardinals. I think the Vikings have an athletic enough of a defensive line that they'll be able to contain Kyler Murray. I don't think they'll let him get out and scramble a whole lot. They will have to double team DeAndre Hopkins. However, I'm not super high on AJ Green. I think he's kind of washed up. Christian Kirk is alright, but I think the Vikings should be able to contain him well enough. So I think the Vikings get a win there. Week 3, I am going to give this one to the Seahawks. This one I expect to be a really high-scoring game. I think both defenses will struggle, but the Seahawks always start out the season really, really hot and then kind of peter out, towards the end of the season. I mean, if the Vikings would have been playing them week like 12 or something, I probably would have given it to the Vikings, especially since they're playing in Minnesota. But the Seahawks just always start out too hot, and I'm not sure the Vikings are going to have an answer for that offense. Browns, I'm gonna give this one to the Browns. My reasoning for that is, I mean, they just also have so many weapons. I mean, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt right off the bat, one of the best running back duos in the league. Jarvis Landry and Odell are also a really, really good wide receiver duo. They also have Austin Hooper. Baker Mayfield started to, grow into a better quarterback since having Kevin Stefanski. They had an amazing offseason for their defense, getting John Johnson and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. and they have a really good offensive line. I think the Browns can honestly be one of the top teams in the NFL. So I think they take this one. However, I think the Vikings will actually sweep the Lions. I mentioned before, I don't think the Lions are going to be great this year. I mean, Jared Goff is kind of meh, but he's not the worst in the league. They have a solid offensive line, and I do like Dan Campbell. I think he will be a solid head coach for them. But that roster is just nowhere near complete right now. They don't have even a decent defense. So, I think the Vikings will sweep the Lions. Okay, now week 6. Vikings and Panthers are so similar. I like looking over these rosters, like it's crazy how similar they are. So, for the Vikings, they've got Justin Jefferson. Panthers have DJ Moore. Both, in my mind, top 10 receivers. Okay, they've got Dalvin Cook and Christian McCaffrey, both top 3 running backs. Both have kind of mediocre, not great offensive lines. Really similar there. I mean, main thing here is I'm not sure what to expect of Sam Darnold. So that's the main thing for the Panthers. But I think the Panthers' defense will be a lot better. I think the Panthers will have a better pass rush and a run-stopping defense. And for the most part, they did really well against the Vikings last year. I mean, Jeremy Chin had 2 touchdowns last year against the Vikings. They are in Carolina. I think I'm going to give this one to the Panthers, but that's not one I'm super confident in. That's not one that I could very easily see that one being reversed. Okay? I do think they'll beat the Cowboys. I mean, yeah, we all know that offense is going to be fantastic. Dak is a good quarterback. They have amazing weapons. But they still didn't do really that much for the defense. Micah Parsons should help. Their new safeties should help. But none of them are like giant upgrades yet. So I think the defense will still struggle a lot, and I think they'll win. Week 9. Okay, this is kind of a hard game for me to predict. I think this will be a lot like the Cardinals game, where they'll do a good job at containing Lamar Jackson. However, I think I'm a bit more confident in the Ravens' defense than I am the Cardinals. I think the Ravens snag this one. I think the Ravens take it. But I think that'll be close. And Vikings could honestly win that one. Week 10, I'm going to have the Vikings beating the Chargers. I think Justin Herbert is already a top 10 quarterback. The kid is incredible. Keenan Allen's still a really good receiver. They did a lot to fix their offensive line. Austin Eckler's kind of alright. He's more of a receiving back. So I think their run game will struggle a little bit, just because they don't have another guy besides Austin Eckler. And their defense has just had a hard time meshing together and staying healthy lately. So I think the Vikings win that one. Week 12. Guys, I previously had the 49ers winning this one. I'm almost thinking, though... Hold on, I have to think this through for a second. No, I'm going to come back to that game. Steelers against Vikings. I mean, they're playing in Minnesota. I really like the Vikings' offense. I mean, Steelers' defense is going to be good, but... I mean, I think it'll be a lower scoring game, with the Steelers' defense doing pretty good against this Vikings offense. But I think that Steelers offense is going to struggle a little bit. I really don't think they'll be all that great this year. I think I'm going to give this one to the Vikings. I think the Vikings will split with the Bears this year. I think they'll win in their respective stadiums. Depending on who the starting quarterback is that week, I could maybe see the Vikings sweep them. My main thing is, like, I honestly think that Justin Fields is going to be really good. But I'm not sure if he's going to be playing at that point. I would think he would be, but Matt Nagy has been very sold on having Andy Dalton as the starter. So, that's my thought there. Now, we have two remaining games. We have the Rams and the 49ers. Um, you know, I previously had um I previously had the 49ers beating the Vikings and the Vikings beating the Rams. I think I'm going to switch this up. So, I think I'm going to. Or, well, actually, you know what? Okay. I do still think the Vikings can beat the Rams. I do. That'll give them 10 wins. What I'm actually going to switch up is I'm actually going to switch that the Vikings beat the Seahawks, but then lose to the 49ers. I know that's a big switch, but I think the Vikings, as long as Aaron Rodgers isn't playing for the Packers this year, I think the Vikings win the division. I do. I think they're a really good team right now. But I'd be more confident with them beating the 49ers than I would the Seahawks. So, yeah, I'm going to give the Minnesota Vikings an 11-6 record, having a 4-2 divisional record. I think the Vikings return to the playoffs. I think they're looking good. Main thing here is we just need their defense to stay healthy, and for Mike Zimmer to be a good coach. That's really the main thing here. So, let me know what your prediction is in the comments section below. Let me know if I'm a little bit too high on the Vikings, or if you think they're going to struggle a little bit more. But let me know your prediction, and I will see you next time. Later.